اللهم صل على الحبيب محمد يا ربي صل.
Yeah, and you speak about this confidence, and if we go back in your career in America, you had a tough time with some of the Muslim community.
Always had tough time.
Yeah, adopting some of this work. I mean,
I started out doing. I converted in 1961, and I went. We had this little mosque in East LA. It was the only mosque in the entire Los Angeles area. Now it's got more than any other city in the country, but this place was a little converted schoolhouse that some guys, a Palestinian guy, a Chinese family, Pakistani family. They were the local guys. There was about 25 families, something like that, and they put their money together and bought this place in the early '60s. And I went there and I got to know them. But you're a stranger. People don't trust you.
right.
But I was really interested in calligraphy, and so I was just fooling around with it at that point. And I saw some designs for, one said Allah, one said Mohamed, and I think there was an Abu Bakr and Osman Ali and Ahmed. So I got some plywood and about this big, and I got some fake gold leaf, and I put these things. They were probably just awful. I mean, they're just probably awful. I had no idea how I was to approach this thing, but I made them, and it was a 2-hour bus ride to get out there.
Wow.
And I took them out there on a bus, and I gave them to them, and they were polite, but it ended up in a closet somewhere. But it was my first thing, but when you're dealing with these situations, you find there's a couple of people you can talk to.
Right.
But most of these folks are not going to talk to you. You're ethnically in the wrong place, and you're culturally in the wrong place, and so that it's hard for people getting. Especially then, there was no network of any kind. You just go and do it. I was fortunate that I had a chance to go to Morocco in '61, and I went again in '64, and spent close to on and off about a year there, and then I spent some time in Europe, in London, and places like that. I was doing I was supporting my work in the British Museum. I was studying old mushafs and stuff with the comedy. I was working with a comedy troupe, doing some interesting kind of stand-up, and then I was doing house restoration.
Wow.
Illegal.
Okay.
This was a time when Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister of England, and he was a horrible socialist.
Okay.
And he hated Americans. So if you're an American, you weren't going to get a work permit. So I was living with a bunch of Russian people, and they said, we'll just call you a Yugoslav exile, and just don't speak anything that anyone can understand. So I said, well, I talk to them in Arabic if they ask me a question, And they said, oh, it's Yugoslav. And so I got myself a work permit, an actor's membership in the British Equity, and they never knew that I wasn't Yugoslav exile.
So you're not Yugoslav?
No. So,
I'm joking.
but I did all of my lines in Arabic because nobody knew the difference anyway. It was just something, and so I mixed sight jokes, with other stuff,
This is amazing.
Yeah, but this was. There was. I didn't make more than $700 a year until I got married in 73 or 74. I think we got married.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I didn't go to the dentist. I didn't go to the doctor. It was. I didn't have a lot of close friends. But I had some. And the ones that I did have really, really counted. And I had. Close friend was a Turkoman from Iraq named Ihsan Beg, and he was the guy who got me learning my first Turkish. I had already made good progress in Arabic at that point, but he got me. He said, "You're going to have to know this stuff." He was very tough, And, okay, but you find people. The Chinese folks they turned out to be lifelong friends. And one of them's working with Suleiman now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, Jose, a closing question. I mean, what advice would you have to anyone, even in America, who wants to take this path that you took, that you started?
Well, I would hope it's a little easier now. I think there's several angles. You have to. It's easiest if you can find somebody to help you to learn the ropes, in a sense, whether it's going to be comedy or calligraphy or art of any kind. You know, I think it's incredibly important that people get into the medias. Learn the media. Get people used to seeing Muslims and Muslim names. Right. Get just the reason all this crud is going on with Trump and all this stuff is because nobody's met any Muslims. They have no idea what people are. You know, they're scared of us. Obviously, fear. You have to cut the fear. You have to eliminate the suspicions of fear. And once you can break that barrier down, it's hard. I have a lot of experience trying this in various work situations. I used to be a machinist, and I worked in the factory, and I used to bring people into the factory that were not part of the ethnical organization of the factory, you know, and they would say, oh, nice, we'll get to do it. Then one little pin would drop and say, oh, they're all bad, you know, and so then this thing would come crashing down. People would get fired, you know, stuff like that. So I think you have to be cautious. If things fail, you do it again, and you do it again, and you never give up, and you keep a cheerful aspect to things. Don't get mad. You know, getting mad. That's what the Prophet said about don't get mad.
Right.
La taghdab.
Yeah.
La taghdab. You know, over and over again. He says, what's the best thing to do? Don't get mad. You know. Right. So that's. Anger, you know, it can wreck you, you know, and it wrecks you as well as anybody else.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, Hoja, you know, I mean, Barakallahu Feek, I think you're an inspiration to many. I know you're an inspiration to myself, and it's great just talking to you.
Not just to calligraphers, for all of us artists that are following in those.
Yeah, because the arts, in a sense, it's a world of things that can happen that people can do that seem easy at first, but we have this concept, as-sahl al-mumtani. You know that term?
I haven't heard it.
Oh my God! As-sahl al-mumtani is if you imagine a violin player, let us say, and he gets up and he plays, and it's just as easy looking, and people, holy moly, that looks so easy. I'm going to do it. So you go out and hit the violin. Oh, you can't do a thing, or you just squawk. And then you see another violin player gets up there and he's groaning and sweat's coming off him and he's like that. And I said, that looks really hard. He's really working at that. But which one's the better musician? The first one is, of course. So that concept is what we should aim for in any of our occupations, to make it look so easy that anyone could want to be a part of it. So if they get into it in the right way, it's not going to kill them. Right. But if it looks so difficult, then people are going to say, not for me, thank you, that's too hard.
Wonderful. Barakallahu Feek. Thank you so much, Hoja.